Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Elmo.
I'm Tuna.
So in these videos we're going to be talking about last week's games. So half 12 on Saturday, we had Brighton 1, Liverpool 1.
Did Jota open the scoring for Liverpool? Another goal for him before Pascal Gross scoring a penalty in the 93rd minute of the game. It was a long game, this one. We've had two penalties, two disallowed goals. I guess we start at the start and go through them.
Yeah,
So, first penalty for Brighton. Yeah, clearly a penalty.
yeah, yeah, without
Nico
a doubt.
got it wrong and obviously tried to play the ball, but didn't really get anywhere near it. And the penalty was atrocious. We've seen
Yeah,
some poor ones this season, and he's definitely not the worst, but he's up there with some of the worst.
I don't know if this is what put him off, but watching him running up before he struck the ball, he kept looking at the ball, looking. I'm not sure if he was looking somewhere at the net or the keeper, and then looking down, then looking back. I don't know if when I've taken penalties in the past, I just concentrate on the ball. I look at the ball and then look where I'm putting it. As soon as I strike it, I don't keep looking at the keeper, and I'm not sure if that
Now,
kind of put him off.
obviously, he scored one against United early this season, did his crying celebration, and that came back to bite him. So maybe that was in his mind as well. Um,
I think he's
then,
taken two and scored two this season. So before then,
well, looking at that one, I don't really know why, because it was poor. A couple of yards wide of the post.
yeah,
Second decision was obviously Salah got put through. Nice little finish over the keeper. A little
it
dink.
it was. Do you think they actually meant to hit that to the ground to bounce up? Because
Um, Probably not. No,
the way the commentator was going, oh, look at how he just bounces it off the floor and bounces it over. I'm like, nah, I didn't mean to do that.
no. I think it was a mishit.
But no, it was a good goal if it had stood. Really good ball through and a good run from Salah. They're the kind of goals
VAR
that you
reviewed
expect
it.
Salah to be scoring as well. So
Yep. Correct decision. It was offside. I know I said different to you the other day, but this is the first time I've actually seen a proper replay of them actually drawing the lines and everything, and it was a bit clearer than I saw it first time, and a bit clearer than the commentators trying to make out. To
yeah,
me, there is a bit of daylight there. It's not as if his foot was touching the line. We're looking pixels. So correct decision there.
definitely.
Jota then went and scored another Liverpool goal. He's certainly hit form. It's his ninth goal since joining Liverpool, and this was a lovely finish.
Yeah, he's your main man. He kind of blindsided everyone because he was running kind of away from the in front of the goal, but kind of away from the goal, and then just slotted it in behind him.
Yeah, it went back across his body with it.
Yeah,
Unlucky for the defender, he sort of bobbled over the defender's leg just in front of the keeper.
yeah, as it was sliding in. Unlucky from both the keeper and the defender. Really good goal from Jota. Can't take nothing away from that, and that put
No,
Liverpool 1-0 ahead.
and obviously, like I say, he's turned into a pretty key player. I mean, all game as well, he was popping up all over the pitch, winning ball in midfield and setting up attacks. And if he keeps doing that, then Firmino is in serious trouble because that's Firmino's main sort of job. He's been that link-up man. If Jota's doing that and scoring goals as well,
I think he's
then there's
kind
no
of
argument between them.
it gave Klopp a headache that he didn't expect to have. I think it brought him in maybe to not be as regular as he is. I think he was more a replacement just in case like Firmino or Salah or Mane gets injured or something like that. But he's now potentially pushing one of the others out. So whether it is Firmino, whether it is Mane, obviously Mane started on the bench this game.
Yeah, I think Mane was the only one of like Salah, Firmino, Salah, Jota, and Mane that started in midweek in the Champions League. So it sort of made sense for him to, be rested for this one after Klopp rested the players midweek.
Yeah, I think a couple of
Um,
weeks ago it kind of shows the headache that Klopp's got because he tried to play all four at once,
yeah,
which didn't seem to work that well. So he's definitely got an headache in terms of which main two, three he uses. So, but it's not a bad headache to have.
Certainly not. It surprised me how quickly Jota's adapted to the team as well, because that's
Yeah,
one thing that Klopp is known for, is making players sort of wait and slowly introducing them. But I suppose when you're scoring goals for fun like he is at the moment, you don't really have a choice, do you? So
yeah. Just before we move on as well, I just want to point out there was two small situations. Connolly getting taken off for Brighton around 60 minutes, I think it was. He was not happy. Quite rightly so. He had a very good game. It was him who went down for the penalty that Brighton got. He had some very good chances, and he was unlucky not to score. He had a very good game, and I think it was harsh in being taken off. I don't know if
it's
there
his
was a
first game
reason.
back from injury. I think he's had quite a long layout. So,
Yeah,
but
and
still, I mean, if you're playing well, then you're going to be frustrated coming off, aren't you?
yeah,
So
and I like the look of him from what I've seen this season. And a couple of minutes later, Salah gets taken off. I think it was for Minamino.
Mane came on for him.
Oh, okay. And again, he didn't even like shake his hand or look at Klopp when he came off. He shook Mane's hand and then just looked away. Stormed off up into stands, slamming his coat about and that. You know, Salah's one of these players that he wants to be playing all the time, and he was playing well. It wasn't as if he was having a bad game or any injury or anything like that, from what I gather with the way he stormed off. But I think it was very. He's shown his disappointment and his disapproval in that. So I think that was
Yeah, I
interesting seeing
think
both players acting like that.
I think as a manager, obviously, you'd rather it be left for the changing rooms and said everything in there. But you want to see it, don't you? You want players to be playing, and maybe it
He,
was a bit of frustration from Salah as well from the disallowed goal. Maybe he thought he was onside and, desperate to make up for it, which we know Salah does do quite often.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, I can sort of understand it. And again, you don't really want to see dissent in your team, but it all depends how it's dealt with, doesn't it? And
yeah.
how you respond from that sort of like reaction. If Salah plays this weekend and goes and scores 4 goals, then maybe it's a good thing after all.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it wasn't as if he was changing tactic as well, because it was a like for like
yeah,
change. So it wasn't as if Klopp were trying to go a bit defensive or anything like that. But
I
no,
think it was a reverse from the Champions League as well midweek. Because I think Salah came on for Mane around the same sort of time in that
uh,
game. So it's fair. You're balancing it out. So
yeah. And something else as well along the same lines. Lallana came on, obviously ex-Liverpool player. He came on for Brighton, and then he only lasted 11 minutes before going off. And I don't know if there was an injury. The commentators kind of said that he went off due to an injury, but he ran down straight down the tunnel, and he was running fine. So it wasn't as if he was limping or anything like that. So that was a
yeah,
bit of a
he
strange
did a
one.
poop. No, it has come out early today that he had a groin injury. He felt something in his groin and decided not to
Okay.
risk it. Apparently, he's been suffering with it all week, which is a bit of a bafflement. Why you decide to risk him if that's the case?
Well, especially, I mean, you ask him how he is and how he feels before bringing him on, but it's kind of tough, if they'd have used all the subs and he was the last one, and then all of a sudden he pulls up 10 minutes later.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it is just a wasted sub, really, isn't it? In,
yeah,
in that case, obviously they lost Mopay as well to an injury,
yeah.
which isn't good for them. They're starting to lose quite a few players. Liverpool lost Milner to a hamstring injury. Um, Apparently that's not major. It should only keep him out for like a week or two. But it's
But it's
another
major for Liverpool at the moment with the amount of injuries that you've got.
it's another person added to the lengthy list. um, Mane had a goal ruled out for offside. A pretty decent header as well, actually. To be fair, so
Yeah,
again, quite clearly offside. And to be honest, for me, it was a harsh free kick in the first place.
I think this one. If you have a look at Brighton as well, I think they got. Didn't they have a free kick leading up to your free kick, and they started playing it backwards? Or I might be thinking another game. Um, Yeah, I think this was a very harsh free kick, but he kind of got it. Good ball in, like you say, good header as well from Mane, but it was clearly offside. VAR was correct again. It's very weird saying that, especially.
Yeah, personally for that one, it's a little bit, annoying that the assistant didn't pick up on that. And I know it's a quick game, but I say he was pretty clearly offside.
Well,
So
this is something that I've said in the past, and VAR's kind of eliminated the need for assistant referees now because they've been told to delay their reactions for offsides and things like that until the end of play, which I don't see much point of. Um, they're not really there for anything. They don't have to make any decisions. They can quite happily not fly that flag at any point and let VAR do all the work. I
yeah,
think it's wrong.
and I think that is the biggest problem with VAR, as you've mentioned multiple times before. It's sort of like a safety net for
Mm,
all officials, really. They can get something wrong, and that's going to correct them.
yeah,
And because in theory it hasn't affected the game, then there's no punishment.
yeah. It's exactly the same with referees. Referees can make mistakes or not blow whistle for anything, blow whistle for something, knowing that they can go and review it or it gets reviewed. I think if we are sticking with VAR, which I don't think they'll get rid of, I think it should be on the call of the referee to ask for VAR to review it. So, in terms of, if there is a goal, let the linesman flag for offside. If the linesman doesn't flag for offside, then it doesn't. In situations like penalties or fouls or anything like that, the referee should be able to say, VAR, could you just review that for me? And not VAR jump ahead and review it and tell the ref, oh, I've reviewed this, you need to have a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand all goals being checked because obviously they're a pretty
Yeah,
major part of the game, and you've got that time where players are celebrating and resetting anyway. Um, but yeah, I think the referee should be able to. Obviously, he's mic'd up to VAR and say, "Oh, hang on, mate, just check that for me. I'm going to let play go on, but just check it and let me know."
I,
Um,
I can imagine
and that,
like referee training nowadays, whereas before, I'm just guessing how this was, but before there was a lot of focus on making sure that the referee was in the correct position at all times for where the ball's being played and where the action is, and make sure you got a clear sight. Whereas now they just run around the pitch, making yourself look busy, and eventually VAR will just speak to you. You're fine, mate. You just don't worry about it.
yeah, and I mean, it's quite a big difference as well. If you're a championship referee and you're going up to the Premier League, you then got to change your entire style for
Mm,
VAR. And likewise, if you get demoted from the Premier League to the Championship, then again, big difference. But I would like to see the conversations between referee and VAR being released as well,
yeah,
so you can see if like the referee asks for review. Such in a case of Brighton's equaliser,
yeah.
because we obviously don't know if the referee asked that to be looked at or if it was reviewed anyway and the referee was told. Because the referee made no signal at all. Normally, obviously, if a player goes down, the referee always does his, arm movement saying no penalty or he'll give it. And Stuart Atwell just did nothing really. So
It was like he didn't even see anything wrong.
yeah, and obviously the assistant referee is looking directly at that as well. That's right in front of him, and they still can make them calls.
Mm.
So, um, what was your taking on the penalty? You are a penalty expert this season. Is the title I'm giving you now?
Okay, so so I think one of the reasons why the ref kind of didn't react to anything like that is because by the time Danny Welbeck had gone down onto the ground, the action was being played somewhere else. So while he's down here like this, the action's being played. If you have a look at the replays as well, Danny Welbeck goes down and then gets straight back up. Basically, because it wasn't a penalty, there was nothing wrong. He got kicked on the bottom of the foot. Granted, he got kicked, there was contact. It wasn't enough for him to go down because he literally made 2 steps and then went down.
Yeah.
It was a delayed reaction.
What gets me with it is looking at the replay. He gets kicked and he purposely looks back to see where the ball's gone before going down. That's what pisses me off.
So, my opinion, it wasn't a penalty. It was very, very soft. Um, I'm guessing you're saying it wasn't a penalty as well.
Well, I said earlier this weekend that it wasn't a penalty, but having seen the replay again, different angles, which I didn't see on my original look in, it looks more of a penalty than I first thought. And I can understand why it's been given.
I can't.
It's just Welbeck's reaction that gets me.
But so my take on it is, it was more of a penalty than Salah's from a couple of weeks ago. But looking at the pundits on Match of the Day as well, they said exactly the same thing as how I feel. I feel like I should be on Match of the Day with these guys because I agree with them a lot. They're both the same in the terms that there was little contact and the player made a lot out of it. If you're giving the Salah one, you should be giving that one, but neither of them should have been given at all.
So you look at the first penalty that Brighton got, and that's pretty much what you want, isn't it?
That's a clear
There's
penalty.
nobody at all that. Well, I mean, you will find people that are debating that, but that's a penalty every single day of the week. My blind grandma would have given that. So,
But I think one thing that you said in an argument, I can't remember if this was on the video or just when we were discussing things. When you were talking about Salas, you were saying about whether the ball got played, and you were saying that there was contact. So laws of the game, if there's contact, blah blah blah. The player didn't get the ball. It was knocked away by Welbeck. So the player didn't get the ball, and there was contact. So from what you were saying about Salah's, it's definitely a penalty.
but if you remember with the Salah's one, I was saying about the play coming through Salah to win the ball.
He didn't come through the player.
He came to the. He kicked the back of his leg.
It came to the side. Salah was facing to the side of him. But
anyway, that's
but you're
that on this one.
but you're saying that if there's contact, and this has been one of my arguments, is the fact
I think this one is a penalty. Having seen the replay,
it's not a penalty.
You
can tell by Welbeck's reaction that it's not a penalty by the fact that it takes two steps and think, oh, I should have gone down there.
Yeah.
Goes down, sees that the ref isn't even looking, jumps straight back up because there's nothing wrong.
Okay, let me rephrase that then. Based on what I've said so far this season, this is a penalty.
Yes.
Consistently, this is a penalty.
But it's not a penalty.
But a player shouldn't be taking 2 or 3 steps, looking around for the ball, and then going down.
I mean,
there was a decent swing from Robertson as well, so that must have hurt, surely.
I mean, take this 2 steps away, it's still not a penalty. And this is the issue, that the fact that these penalties are being given just means that attacking players have it in their head that if they feel contact, they can go down because they'll get a penalty. And I think that's where the referees and the FA or whoever needs to be a lot harsher on these. And if it's not a penalty, because there was only a little contact and the player went down, yellow cards need to be handed out. I think I said this last week. Yellow cards need to be handed out for these players that think it's okay to just get a little touch, feel a little bit of touch from the opposition player and then go down. Because it's ruining the game.
On the penalty itself, it was a pretty good penalty.
It was a good penalty.
Straight down the middle, which, can be quite risky to do. You get that wrong and the keeper's foot's get into that. But no, he made sure to put it high enough that unless the keeper stayed down the middle, which you're never really going to see, are you?
Do you think if it was still on the pitch, do you think Gross would have been taking it, or do you think it'd be Mopé?
I think it'd be Mopé. I think he is their penalty taker.
Because, like we mentioned previously with, well, I don't know if we did actually, like Bruno is Man United's main penalty taker, but after missing a few, he passed it on. Do you think that Mopé wouldn't have, and he'd have tried to recover then?
I mean, he's not a player I know too much about, but he doesn't strike me as that sort of person. I think he'd take it. So...
But I mean,
he's a striker, and all strikers are greedy. And
yeah, I mean, it's kind of a disappointing result for you guys in a way. Obviously, you want to be getting 3 points against a team like Brighton. We've said a number of times that Brighton have played well this year, and they've been very unlucky. I think they played really well this game, and I think
yeah,
a point is very good for them.
I think it's
Well
sort of a
deserved.
harsh result on both teams, especially so when you look at the amount of players that Liverpool are missing. Brighton must have surely been looking at this and thinking, we could nick this.
Mm. And I think a
Um,
lot of teams are going to be looking at that over the next couple of weeks as well. The likes of Milner's missing as well, potentially for next week, maybe weekend after.
it was bizarre that Matic was rested for this game. It wasn't an injury; it was just left out being rested, leaving Nat Phillips, who's only made one Premier League appearance, and Fabinho at centre back.
I mean, apart from giving away the penalty, I think Williams had a good game.
Yeah, Williams did. He sort of reminds me a bit of Trent in he's very good attacking, but his defensive work needs some polishing. But like I say, a young lad, he's going to learn, and so Connolly especially made him work for his money and
Yeah, Conley had a very good game.
But
That put Brighton down to 16th. That put Brighton on 16th, sorry, with 10 points. The 5 points clear of 18th. So they're slowly leading away from relegation, and I do hope that they stop up if they continue playing the football that they are. Liverpool joint top with 21 points. The second, but the joint top with 21 points. So
he's definitely getting tighter again at the top, especially after the weekend's results. And I say at the top, it's pretty much 15th up. He's getting very close.
It is.
And then got Brighton
Anytime.
by themselves, and then the bottom four.
Yeah, so any of the teams from like 5th to like 12th, as soon as they win, that could take them up quite a few places at the moment. So it's not getting as tight as what I expected after 10 games.
It wasn't great for us either. I had a Liverpool Tuna win in this one.
Yeah, I had a 3-1 win. I expected Brighton to score, but
so just think without VAR, you'd have perfect score.
yeah, it was a decent game though. Good game to start the weekend on Saturday morning. I don't class Friday as the weekend, but okay, guys, that's it for this week with the match reviews. I hope you enjoyed them all. Hopefully you check them all out. All 10 should be up now. Don't forget to check out next week's videos. There's also an FA Cup third round draw video that's been up, and there's going to be plenty more videos going up, not just us talking about the Premier League and the reviews and that. So please check them out along with our socials down below. Please subscribe, like this video, add a comment. I've been Elmo.
I've been Tuna.
And see you later.
Swim.